Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Chris Lowery, your independent candidate for Jefferson County Sheriff in November of 2026. Welcome to our weekly live. Welcome to our live that we go live every Monday from 6:30 to 7:30 on the Chris Lowery for Jefferson County Sheriff, my personal page, business page, and right here on our YouTube channel. So welcome in, welcome in. Do me a favor and like and share this so we can get some followers on here. Just go ahead and tag somebody, tag some in the comments. Hello, Kathy. I see you're on there as always. Thank you so much. Just log in on my phone here and see if I can't tag a few folks myself. Bear with me just a second. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is our weekly live for the Chris Lowery, your independent candidate for Jefferson County Sheriff 2026. I want to talk to you this evening about a couple of different things, discuss the primary election, how that turned out for some folks, see how people were voting, and see what their thoughts were. Let's get some folks on here. So if we would, let's like and share it to your personal pages, what have you. And we'll try to have a good conversation this evening. So, got a couple things that I want to specifically talk about as far as my candidacy goes. I'd love to hear from you with any questions, concerns, or comments that you have for me, as well as interactions that you may have had with the Jefferson County government, Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. In particular, your thoughts on where we're at as a local community and some of the crime rates that are happening in and around Pine Bluff, which is the heart of Jefferson County. Anything and everything is open for discussion tonight. No question deserves to be unanswered. No question is too tough. So we will do our best to answer those questions for you. If I don't know the answer, we'll get it back to you. I'll do some research if it's not something I'm familiar with. So go ahead and tag a few folks. See if we can get some people in here. Let's see. All right, we're up to 7 people. Let's try to see if we can grow that a little bit. I'm tagging a few folks. All right. Anyway, let's just see if we get a few folks on here. Again, this is Chris Lowery, your independent candidate for Jefferson County Sheriff 2026, November 2026. Since the last time we had our live, we did have the primary elections for the state of Arkansas that occurred last Tuesday. We did receive some results on those. Still had some questions, concerns, and comments about how the election went and some of the things that people have given me some feedback on about how their process went when they were down at the voting booth. Hey, welcome, Jihad. Welcome. So last Tuesday we had our primary election, and that was for the entire state of Arkansas. So there was numerous races going on. around the entire state. There was some very close and heated races within Jefferson County. The ones that there were several that were decided, and there's a couple that are remaining in a runoff. And I believe there is one. There is one. I believe they're doing a recount on one tomorrow, just because it was so close. It was like I think it was like 260 to 256, something along that, in one of the JP races. So that I believe tomorrow the election commission has announced they're doing a recount on that, just to validate and verify and double, triple check, kind of dot all the I's, cross all the T's in that particular election. So, and then there's a runoff election that will be occurring on March 31st. Let me pull up a calendar. I don't like to give out bad dates. So March 31st, there's a runoff election in a couple of races. In particular, the most significant one at that point for Jefferson County is related to the county judge's race. There will be the current county judge, Gerald Robinson, and attorney Ephraim Neely will be doing the runoff in that race. I believe attorney Ephraim Neely won a majority of the votes, but neither one of them got over a 50% ballot count in the primary. So if you're not real familiar with politics, how that works is if there's more than two people in the race, then somebody has to get 50.01%, more than 50% of the votes in order to be declared the victor. And in that race, they were not. So now there's a runoff that's going to be occurring. The election day for that is March the 31st, and there will be early voting the week before that up to the 30th of March. And then the final election day will happen on the 31st. So interesting to see what people's thoughts are on that. People of Jefferson County have spoke. You saw a lot of votes cast for some change, and that's the thing that many candidates were talking about, and I keep talking about it, that we need change in the sheriff's office, change in leadership within the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. And the other part of this election process that I want to talk about is the fact about, I want to address my independent candidacy, right? So I want to explain what that is. I've still been getting some questions, concerns, comments, feedback. As a matter of fact, today I was out, met with one of my voters, Miss Walker. She said, I went in and voted last Tuesday, and I didn't get to vote for anything that I really cared about. And I got her to explain to me what that meant. And she said, well, I pulled my ballot, and the only thing on there was the Tom Cotton race, and then or Arkansas the Arkansas Supreme Court race. Anyway, so as I discussed with her, what it was is that she had pulled a Republican ballot. So down here in Jefferson County, predominantly or heavily Democrat. So if you want a say in a majority of the races, you had to have pulled a Democrat ballot. So the example I give on that is the coroner's race, for example. There was two candidates in that. The incumbent, Chad Kelly, being challenged by Jamal Gordon. Both of them were registered Democrat candidate seekers. So there was no Republicans and no independents candidates on that particular race. So what's up, Kevin? I see you, brother. Good to see you on here. So with that being said, there was, if you pulled a Republican ballot, you did not get to vote for whoever your coroner is, right? So that was a very tight, contested race. Congratulations, Chad Kelly, for maintaining the position of coroner for Jefferson County. And then there was also a runoff race in the Jefferson County, Lincoln County, District 11 West prosecutors race. That runoff race will happen in the general election. So the part I want to discuss is my independent candidacy. What does that mean? So it means a couple of different things. Number one, what I've been talking about this entire time, as a registered independent for candidacy, that means that I am not affiliated with a political party. I'm not affiliated with the Republicans. I'm not affiliated with the Democrats. And it really means, as far as being elected goes, the way I get on the ballot is I am not associated with those political parties. I didn't pay their party fees to be placed on the ballot representing their party. The other part of that is that I want to explain to you that I am truly an independent, right? I don't declare myself Republican. I don't declare myself Democratic. Over the history of my voting life, since I was 18 years old, I have voted for many Democrats and Democrat candidates. I have voted for some Republicans, and I have voted for different sides of the aisle each and every time. So as an independent, it allows me to truly align my voting power with the issues or the candidates that most align with my values and my beliefs. It allows me political freedom, if you will. And that's what that means. I do not agree with everything that the Republicans do. I do not agree with everything that the Democrats do. I try to do my best at researching, reading, understanding, and educating myself on issues that I have taken note with, and try my best to find the information out, talk to people, gather information, and make the best decision I can. So I have felt that by being an independent, that is what represents Chris Lowery the best, right? And so it has nothing to do with Republican. It has nothing to do with being a Democrat. So for me personally, I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that I do not align myself with either party. I don't have any financial backers that are from a party affiliate. Matter of fact, when I started this process, I kind of found it humorous that I was just going around and meeting different people. Hey, Christy, good to see you today. I found it interesting as I was going around, as candidates do, and you're introducing yourself and going up and shaking hands and trying to earn that vote and get your message spread. And one particular time, I just happened to be in an event that the Jefferson County Republican Party was at, and I went up and introduced myself. And immediately out of some of their mouths, it was, well, we can't support you because you're not running Republican, and we can't financially back you. And I laughed. I said, well, did I ever ask you for backing or support? Did I ask you for any financial gains? Did I ask you for any part of that? No, I did not. I just came up introducing myself and who I was, and started talking about my platform. So I just, it's one of those things that people confuse, in my opinion, the political lines about, well, he's not this or she's not that. And there's no way I can vote for this person because they're a Democrat, or there's no way I can vote for this person because they're a Republican. And, and I personally find that silly. I personally find that painting yourself into a corner, into a box that says, well, even though if this guy or girl's got some good ideas, doesn't matter if they're white, black, Hispanic, male, female, whatever, even though they got good ideas, I can't cast my vote for them. That makes zero sense to me, right? So when you're looking at the candidate, that number one, each and every candidate has had a lot of courage, right? And they should be praised for being willing to run, because I'm telling you, once you put your name in a hat, people like to come out, say things that are untrue, start digging into your life and peeling an onion back in a situation that you may not ever thought about or asked about, but that definitely happens. So I give kudos to anybody and everybody who has run for any office, whether that's a local, city, county, state, federal, whatever. I definitely give them kudos for that. But this person has had the courage to run, tried to lay their platform out for you as best as possible and earn your vote. And so really what you need to be listening to is the message that they're putting out there, the transparency, their record, them as a person, the job they're running for, what have they done to prepare themselves for it, or what have they done while they're in that office. And if it's been in shambles, if they're in office, if it's been in a way that you disagree with, or it's traveled in a direction that you completely disagree with, then that's where you really got to start analyzing who we have in office, and do you want change, and how do we affect that change. And then the last little part of it that I've spoke on before is that Chris Lowery's personal opinion on the sheriff's race. So there's three parts of what I call the criminal law enforcement side of things, right? So a person violates a law, a person who violates the law gets held accountable through a law enforcement entity, uh, arresting them, writing them a ticket, whatever, right? So there's that. Then there's the prosecution side, right? And then you have city prosecutors, city attorneys that do prosecution in some cities, county prosecutor that does the county prosecutions, and both of those in our county are elected officials. And then you have judges, right? So that's three parts to it. Well, it's ironic to me that the judges are nonpartisan, which means they're not required to declare a political party, and a political party is not associated with their race at all. The prosecution is nonpartisan. Again, not associated with any political party and plays no part in their race at all. The other part of that is the sheriff's race. That's the only other that's elected position within that. The other ones, like chief of police, are appointed by mayors or what have you. But the sheriff in all 75 counties is elected by the citizens, but they must declare a political party or run as an independent. And I find that telling that we've not changed that. I find that very telling that there has been some obstacles as I've peeled this onion back and started researching this on why that is. And it ultimately boils down to that political parties of power don't want to give up positions that have party associations. That's what it kind of boils down to, best I can tell. And that's ironic to me, because how more fair than to be the top law enforcement official for your county than to be able to be declared independent or nonpartisan and not have that political affiliation. I just think that's the way it should be. And so therefore, that position, the way I decided to run, truly aligns with who Chris Lowery is. Because if you go back and analyze any conversations you've ever had with me over my 52 years of life, I promise you there are some conservative things I talk about. There are some liberal things I talk about. And there's never been a position that I take as a staunch conservative or a staunch liberal. It's just kind of one of those deals that I analyze each individual topic personally and see how that applies to me. Looks like we've had a few questions. I want to go over some comments. Hey, Jihad, I think I mentioned to you a while ago. Thank you. Hey, Devin. As we scroll down through here, Kathy asked where the polling place will be March 31st, courthouse or polling location. So it should be at all the polling locations, just like it was on the normal election day. So the early voting will occur at the courthouse, just like it did in this primary election that just happened most recently, that concluded Tuesday, all the way up until the Monday through Friday, and I believe the Saturday before March 31st, Tuesday through Monday, I guess it is, all the way up till Monday before the 31st. So the 30th of March will be early voting at the Jefferson County Courthouse. And then the 31st will happen at the polling locations again. So part of that is that you need to get back out and vote, right? So any of the races that were highly contested, you need to get back out, support your candidate. If your candidate didn't make it in the top two, pick one of those two that are remaining and see where their belief aligns with yours and cast your vote for them. So voting is not over with, ladies and gentlemen. It is not over with. You have got to get out there, do your civic duty, and vote. I do believe even if you were not able to participate in this primary election due to not, missing it, wasn't able to work, as long as you're a registered voter, I do believe you're going to be allowed to vote in that. So let's see. Christian, do you think the overall votes that were cast were low compared to the overall population for Jefferson County? If so, how can we fix that? That's a great question. So in my opinion, it was low, Christian. It was around 7,900 votes, 7,900 votes. We're a population of around approximately 60,000 in the county. But how we fix that is getting people motivated to become registered voters, right? They can't vote if they're not registered. So we need to have more voter registration drives. We need to have more people engaged in debates, forums, conversations, and asking those questions. And I think that will come through getting different elected officials in office where you can be more transparent, have more information flow out to the citizens and constituents so they understand. I think that people's lives just become so busy. I can tell you one thing that I personally experienced as I've been running around collecting my signatures for my petition is that several people, and I can't tell you exactly how many, but it was been quite a few that have said, I'm not even a registered voter. And I would say, well, why not? What can we do to fix that? And they say, oh, my vote don't matter. My vote don't count. And if that is the belief of some of these people, then we have to educate them on that, in particular at the local politics level. I mean, when we talk about, I believe it was the JP4 race that's being recounted tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Jihad, if you're watching on that, can you correct me on that, please, in the comment? But I believe it's the JP. Are people hearing me? Christian says he lost sound. Give me a thumbs up if you're hearing me. I don't know why maybe it's just him. So I'll continue talking until I get some thumbs up or more people saying they lost it. But anyway, so in the JP race that I talk about, that I think it was JP Johnson, I think. All right, Kathy's giving me a thumbs up. So, and then Joseph O'Neill, who was challenging for that position. And so that was 260 votes to 256, I believe, is what the unofficial count is at this point. Again, they're holding a recount, I believe, on that tomorrow. But that's how critical that votes count. So the table that I distinctly remember talking to most recently was at Lucky's Cafe up at 5th and Convention. I was in there having a coffee with the candidate conversation, just meeting different people and spreading my message. And then when I went up to them and started talking, and they said they didn't vote, and asked why not. And they said, well, because our votes don't count. And they started talking about the Electoral College and things with the president and so forth and so on. And I tried my best at that point, given the time and opportunity that I had, to educate them on local politics and how the vote does count. They really weren't trying to hear it. But I counted it as a win because they did take a flyer with my phone number on it and said they would consider becoming registered voters. They probably won't. They're just telling me that to get out of their hair. But think about it. There was 3 people sitting at that table, Christian. So to use that race, I'm talking about if they happen to be from District 4, Jefferson County, JP's voting deal, that was 3 people that could have swung that race around, right? And made it where one either had more of a clear victory or where it was a tie, like it was counted for at one point. So that's why it's important, and we just have to spread those messages. I would say, I've always been a registered voter since I was 18 years old. 1992 I was very excited at my first opportunity to vote in an election process. It happened to be a presidential race that I was able to vote for. No, by the way, I did vote for a Democrat that year. That was Bill Clinton. And I think people have lost touch with that until it becomes election time. And then people, you figure if you run on 4-year cycles, 2 or 4-year cycles is what elections are brought up on. And during that period, people lose a lot. So if it's been 4 years and they've been 3 years, 3.5 years, and not really been involved with politics, they only hear a little bit there. And then all of a sudden, all these people come out and want to shake their hand and kiss their babies and attend their churches and say, vote for me, vote for me. Well, I could see where people haven't been engaged in that process, right? If it's not been a continual thing. So we got to answer your question, Christian, I think we have to do a better job about getting people engaged in the community, let them know how their voice matters, and let them know how their voice matters and how their vote does really help local politics, both at your city and county and state level at that matter. But that's the biggest thing. So let's see. It looks like everybody's saying I got sound. Kristen, you just lost it for whatever reason. Is there a way to get age brackets? Let's see. Is there a way to get the age brackets, art registered to vote, etc.? So there are ways to obtain names and lists. We have done that, I believe, and I'm shooting from the hip here, Christian. So anybody that validates that, don't say I gave you bad information. I would tell you that I want to say Jefferson County, we have roughly 60,000 citizens of Jefferson County. And I believe we have about 26 or 27,000 registered voters. So less than 50% of the people are even registered. And then when you take into account the number of people that actually vote, so it's voter rolls, for the people that actually voted, it's a smaller number than that 26 or 27,000. And the ones that vote consistently year in and year out, it's even smaller. And then in this race, this is a non-presidential race. So you got to think, when you have a presidential race going on, a lot more TV media coverage nationally, both local, state, and federally is covered. So it probably reminds people a lot more. So this was just a midterm election as far as that goes, with the major races around the country. And our Congress, we have one congressman race on there. Governor's race is coming up as well. So the general election, I think, will be more. I think more people will turn out for that because it will be a governor's race. I think the numbers will just look better. I think there are people that are registered Republicans that just did not want to go vote because any Republican that was running for a local office in Jefferson County wasn't on there. It was all state stuff. And I think some people just sit back and decide that, well, the rest of the state's going to decide it. My vote doesn't matter. So we got to change that mentality and have people understand that their votes do actually matter. And the lower the level of the race, the smaller the race, it's that much more important for you to be involved. Because in a JP race, I keep talking about that one because it's so close that they're doing a recount for the JP4. I think it was 260 to 256, right? So you're talking, was that 516 votes, right? Well, we probably all personally know 516 people that we could reach out and call. So when you're dealing with, I don't know what the demographics or the population of JP4 actually is. I don't have that broke down. That wasn't a race for mine. I'm looking at the entire county. But when you look at that population versus number of voters versus voter turnout, I think we just have to do a better job at educating people about that and trying to get that voter turnout. So the other thing that I will mention that I noticed is that it was very interesting to me, being the first time I've ever run for office and really looked at the voter returns. So when I was looking at those, it was interesting to me that some people took their time to go vote and chose not to vote for certain races. And when I say races, we're not talking a black-white issue. I'm talking about I'll vote for the coroner, but I won't vote for the county judge. And so, because if you've never voted or if you're not that familiar with it, you'll see it. It's all listed there, each name under each position, and then you just pretty much touch screen which ones you like. But that's called the undervote. And there were people that actually voted and then voted in some of the petitions and ballots, some of the measures and candidates that were on there, and just elected not to in the others. And I don't quite understand that. It wasn't that big to do your research. I say big. It was pretty simple to go to the Secretary of State's website, see who was on there, do a little bit of research through Facebook, social media, news sources. If nothing else, call your friend, your neighbor to the left, your neighbor to the right, neighbor across the street. Have a conversation. Strike up a civil conversation about what do they know about this person or that person, and it'd be an opportunity for them to learn something about it instead of just not voting. So if you make it down there to vote, I do think you ought to apply yourself in every position that you're eligible to vote for. So, yes, Kathy highlights that there was a friend of ours that lost by 26 votes one year. So it matters greatly. So you really got to get out and vote. So one of the things I would encourage people to do is spread the word that during this runoff that's coming up, you must vote. You must vote. I mean, it is so imperative that, the state has become so good at offering the early votes for you to be able to get participate in and to get involved in. So there's plenty of days. So there should be, I believe, 7 days of early voting if it's Monday through Friday. I think that Saturday, and then that following Monday will be early voting. But there's for sure 6 of those days that you could get involved in early voting, and then the actual election day, right? So when it boils down to it, even if your candidate lost, right? So there was five Democrat candidates for county judge, right? And if your favorite one lost because they did not come in second place to get them into the runoff, then you still have a voice. You still need to weigh in, because that way you can hold these suckers accountable when they get into office. If they're not doing what they told you they were going to do, if they're not following through in their campaign promises, how that is so weird to me to hear somebody complain or not get involved when they didn't vote, right? And I know you might have voted in the primary, so I'll pick a candidate, right? So I think the lowest candidate, because I don't want to come across that I'm endorsing anybody, because I'm not. But let's say I think Dr. Michael Turley got 800, 900 votes, something like that, for county judge. Well, if that was your candidate, so there's 800 or 900 people, however many votes he got, those same people need to get out and vote for one of these two that's left. You can either vote for the incumbent, Gerald Robinson, who's the current county judge, or you can vote for Attorney Ephraim Neely, who is a newcomer to the political arena, who's done a job of spreading his message and participating in forums and trying to get his message out there. I've been seeing a lot of him on social media with some ads being run. So those are your two people. To just not vote, I don't think is good, and it's not part of our civic duty. So, hey, Dan, thank you, buddy, so much. I am trying my tail off, buddy. I see you doing good things up there with Envision Homes. Anybody that reaches this to up in the Cabot, Austin Ward area, Dan Ryer right there, I'm going to highlight him. He's an old friend. Used to be deputy sheriffs together, and then he has since gone on, created what appears to be a great company, Envision Homes. He also has some good social media content he puts out there in relation to custom homes and customer satisfaction. So good job, Dan. Good luck to you too, brother. I appreciate you spreading the word. Anything you need from down here in Jefferson County, let me know. We'll see if we can't help you out, point you in the right direction. So yeah, I'm highlighting Kathy's comment right there. She just says, if you want change or want who you want to lead, you need to please vote. So what she's saying there is exactly what I just talked about. So if you want change, you're going to need to vote for new change, so a new person coming in. If you're happy with the current situation, if you're currently happy with any of those positions that are in a runoff, then you're going to need to get out and vote before change does happen. If you think what's been happening is the right way, the right pathway, that's who you support, then you need to get your neighbor to your left, your neighbor to your right, across the street neighbor, your whole family out in droves and come in and vote, 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 vote. And that's going to be on March 31st. So it's vitally important. Let me grab my phone here so I can see if I've missed anything. Let's see. Pulling it up. All right. So Kathy's asking a question because she hears me talk about it all the time. She says, how often do you plan on being on the streets when elected? I heard this is not the duty of the sheriff. So I will be on the streets, and I'm going to use quotes for her. So when she says when on the street, I believe what she's referring to is being out there and actually performing what is routinely known as law enforcement duties, answering calls, making traffic stops, responding to emergencies, interacting with the community, doing neighborhood policing, community policing, responding to alarms, what have you. All the things that are encompassed within a law enforcement professional's daily duties. She says, how often will I be on the street? My plan is at some point do that every single day. There's a lot of time between now and November, and there's a learning curve to come in and be the top law enforcement official within the county. However, I've been very clear that the priority will be to get that Dub Brazel Detention Center under control. And then my priority, my plan will be to visit that routinely, regularly. And then my plan will be to be on the streets at some point every day. That does not mean I will be out responding to calls every single day. But that does mean that calls will not go unanswered. That does mean that the deputies will not respond without backing officers. That does mean that an additional body, the sheriff right here, will be out working with them regularly. I will not have set hours. I will not be in the middle of the night sitting in my office and doing paperwork. So to answer your question, as much as I humanly possibly can, I currently seem to work on about a 20-hour workday between getting up and going to bed. And so I plan on that continuing once you great citizens get me elected sheriff. So what I can tell you is that I will do whatever it takes to fill voids and positions that's needed for the citizens of Jefferson County. So, all right, so let me look that up. Devin has a question. I want to give exact answer. Let's see. Let's see if I can get that real quick, Devin, for you, because I don't want to give bad information. Must be a U.S. citizen, must be an Arkansas resident, must be 18 or turn 18 on or before the next election, not convicted, felon whose sentence has not been discharged or pardoned, not be presently adjudicated as mentally incompetent. Let's see. The voter returns to the County Board of Election Commissions on the county clerk by noon on the Monday following the election and presents a document or identification card meeting requirements described above. The County Board of Election Commissioners does not determine. Oh, that was talking about provisional ballots. My apologies. Registration deadlines. You must submit an application to an official voter registration agency or mail it no later than 30 days prior to the election in which you wish to vote. So our election, general election is November 3rd, 2026. So based off of this, it must be 30 days, and this is off Secretary of State's website, must be 30 days prior to that, which would put you around October 2nd. If you completed your application at a voter registration drive, the organizers must submit to the county clerk or Secretary of State's office within 21 days of the date on the application, or no later than 30 days prior to the next election cycle. So that's how that goes. If you submit your application close to an election registration deadline, you're strongly advised to follow up on your registration status with your county clerk before election day. Key point, I will mention on something about that here in a minute. If an election deadline is looming, there is one method of application that will ensure your eligibility. Apply in person with the county clerk. Yes, go to the county clerk's office with your identification card, fill it out right there, give it to them right there in their office. I could not agree with that more. I think that is a very solid way of doing it. If you've not received verification from your county clerk, be sure to confirm your registration before election day. Again, same thing I talked about. Key point I want to talk about here in just a second. And if you have moved from one county to another within Arkansas, you must update this information with the county clerk before casting your ballot. All right, so what I want to address there is the part where it's talking about verify before election day. So there's been some situations that happen. A good friend of mine, I think he's on here, he does not live in this county. However, he went to vote. And when he went to vote, He gave them his ID, and they were saying he wasn't a registered voter, and that was bad information. He has voted, according to him, in every presidential election over the past several elections, but they attempted to tell him that he has not voted since, I believe he said 2007, which was untrue. He had photographs that were geotagged at the last presidential election. So the 2024 election, November of 24 presidential election, he was tagged in. And so what he's having to do is a provisional ballot, which that seems weird within itself to me. There's a whole thing on that where you have to have a hearing and what provisional ballots mean. But basically, provisional means they're allowing him to cast a ballot, but it's being held to the side, and they will have a hearing to determine if his ballot was actually good, if he was a registered voter at the time it was cast. So, but the thing of it is, I think the election day was over March 3rd, but his provisional ballot hearing is not even until March the 13th. So 10 days after the election. So don't wait till the end. What I would tell you to do, go to the clerk's office, fill out the registration, check it. If you're not registered, register to vote, hand it to them. And then a short period of time later, I would say a week, check on Voter View, which is on the Secretary of State's website, where you can go check your voter registration status at any point. So, yeah, and if you, Devin's asking, how can you become a registered voter if you need help? So you can go to the county clerk's office. You can call me, 870-556-0330. You can stop by 6523 Dalloway Road. I believe all the post offices have them. I believe that your military recruiting stations have them. There's all kinds of ways to become a registered voter. Matter of fact, I have probably 200 blank applications in my truck with me. So if I meet somebody who's not registered and they want to become registered, fill it out and I'll make the trip for you. So those are all ways that you can do it. Hey, welcome. Selena says, those in the county jail who haven't been convicted of a crime and are able to vote, a family member or authorized person are able to fill out. She's got a website there. Let me pull that up. They're able to fill out this form off Secretary of State's website. It is a absentee ballot application. Send it to the clerk. The clerk is responsible for sending it to the destination, and then administration must send it back. So what she's talking about, and this was the interesting question that was posed a while back. So if they are a registered voter, if they were eligible to vote and they are prior to being convicted of a crime that would inhibit them or disqualify them from being able to vote in an election, how do they vote? Well, Selena Hale with Arkansas Restorative Justice is putting it out there for you right there. So you can go to the county clerk and fill out this form, have this form submitted to them. So that if they're in jail and have not been convicted of a crime and are able to vote, a family member or authorized person is able to fill out this form on the Secretary of State's website and send it to the clerk, the county clerk. And then they're responsible for sending it to the detainee, and then the administration must send it back. So there is a way for those votes to be cast. So it'll be an opportunity for you to make sure, because there are people in jail that will ultimately not be convicted of their crimes due to lack of evidence, or if they were innocent, or there's a myriad of reasons. Charges dismissed. They could plead to a lesser charge that would not require them to lose their voting rights. There's a myriad of things that can happen. So there are so many ways to vote, and I just want more people to participate in this throughout the entire nation, particularly the state, particularly this county, right? So we need everybody to vote. So I would like to see us to get up, I don't know, in this general election. Again, I've never ran for politics before, never really looked at the numbers. I think in the presidential election in 24, there were something like 21,000 voters. I'd like to see us, I believe I quoted 27,000 registered voters, maybe 21,000 participated during the last presidential election. I'd like to see 20,000, or at least we had 7,900 or so in this primary. I would love to see that number double for sure. So Kathy says, verify yourself. Yes, and what she means by that is verify your voter registration, because we've been going through a voter drive, a signature for my petitions. So uh, we have talked about this before, but as an independent candidate, I am required to obtain 550 signatures from registered voters within Jefferson County. And then we validate them through the voter view website, which is off the Arkansas Secretary of State's website. And we have had people that swear up and down they're voters. They've given us all their information, name, address, date of birth, all the things that are required on this petition. And then we look them in voter view and they're not there. I don't know if they drop out after so long with lack of participation, if they've been accidentally deleted, merged, dropped off. I don't know what that looks like, but I would highly encourage you, because I believe that your vote is one of the most valuable rights that you have as an American in this country. And that if it is that valuable, and we know that your voice matters, that I would encourage you to not only check yourself, but double check it, triple check it before the 30 days out on the election cycle. So we talked about you got to be registered minimum of 30 days before the election that you're wishing to participate in. I would encourage you to check it multiple times, but check it again right before the 30 days. And I would, just being honest with you, based off of what Chris Phillips told me happened to him in Pulaski County, I would encourage you to, when you check that, if you check it on your mobile device, is screenshot that in case something happens. I mean, we live in a world of computers where things happen, and if my man has voted in every presidential election since the mid 90s, and then now he all of a sudden is not a registered voter, something happened. An error has happened somewhere. So roughly 1 out of every 4 people who think they are registered have some type of issue with their registration. I've seen some names spelled incorrectly on voter view. So yes, check it. So highlight Devin's comment there. What she's saying is that she's the person that has volunteered and so graciously helping me out, verifying these people that are graciously signing my petition. And then as she is going through the process of verifying these people as being actual registered voters, so our numbers are accurate, that she's saying roughly 1 out of 4 of every 4 people who think they're registered have some type of issue with the registration. A name spelled wrong, a birth date wrong, an address wrong, whatever that looks like. So you need to get that corrected. And the best way to do that, the most efficient way to do that, is to go down to the county clerk's office, complete a new form, fill out whatever documents they need to get you corrected, whether it's a name issue, a birth date issue, an address issue, or what have you. So highly encourage you to do that. I can't comment on that enough. So let's see. Anybody on here that did vote in the primary, how'd that turn out for you guys? What do you think? What'd you see? What were some trends you noticed? What some of your experiences that you experienced at the polls, at the voting locations, whether you did early vote or you voted at your polling location? I would enjoy to hear what you have to say about it. It was very interesting. It was probably the most engaged I had been in a long time with the vote. To be honest with you, mine and Kathy's 26 years of marriage, when we get involved in voting, it's normally been sit around the house, watch CNN, local news, whatever, and just see who won. But this time, because we had some acquaintances that we had met during this process, and we believed that their message was really strong. And then some friends that were running for a position or two. And, we were highly encouraged by things they were saying and doing and actions that they had going on. And so we were really on it. And it was very, I don't know what to say there, but it was very exciting. It was very nerve wracking as results were being fed to me from different people in different locations. And one particular race, I mean, I'll say it, the coroner's race, right? I am friends with Chad Kelly, and Jamal Gordon ran a great race against him, and it was very tight and very heated. And I say heated, it seemed like it was going back and forth on the numbers that I was getting, and at some point I was given some numbers, and it looked like Chad had lost, and kind of had a pit in my stomach. And I've known Chad for quite a while now, and I thought, man, how do I make this phone call and make sure my guy's okay? And give him those words of encouragement that he's done a great job for a long time. And the citizens of Jefferson County are proud of him. And I was proud of him as a friend, and so forth and so on. And then, boom, the numbers changed, right? And it seemed like, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but he won by a couple hundred votes. So Jamal ended up conceding that race to him, based off the numbers that were had been counted at the time. And so it was a very, Kathy just says it right there, exciting and eye-opening. It was, my entire team had gotten together and ordered some big banjo pizza and set out at a friend's house and had some great conversations, and just was able to watch this thing unfold. And it's still unfolding, right? There's different parts of this entire thing moving. There's court cases going, there's recounts happening, there's runoffs that's happening. There is still plenty of movement happening within the Jefferson County election cycle for 2026. And this is just the primary election cycle. So your voice matters, your opinion matters, and your accountability of those current elected officials matters. So there are some people that are incumbents that have won their primary race or in a runoff. Make them earn it, ladies and gentlemen. Make them earn it. Call them on their phone. If you want their phone number, I got it. My phone number. Feel free. I'm not going to put it out there on Facebook, but you can call me at 870-556-0330 and say, hey, I want Attorney Ephraim Neely's phone number, or I want the county judge's phone number, or whatever, even Sheriff Woods' phone number. I have it. And if those are your current elected officials, and they should be available to you. At least the county judge and the sheriff are your current elected officials, and they have accountability to you over the next 8 months. And then the one that's running, that's never been in office, he needs to answer to you. He needs to give you his plan on what he's going to do differently in Jefferson County and earn your vote. So reach out to them. They all have Facebook pages. You can send them messages. They got websites. And then again, if all else fails, I'll give you their phone number. I ain't scared. So Chris Phillips says he went to the election commission. Let's see, what was that, last week? Went to the election meeting last Friday, and a lady made a complaint about voter information and threats. So yes, I've heard that too, Chris. And what he's referring to is, let me just throw it out there. If anybody who is watching this live, man, tag some friends. We got a few more minutes. Tag them. Let's spread this out, man. I want this to catch fire right now, because it, quite frankly, pisses me off if that's the case. But as I'm being told, there was a voter who she ended up making an official complaint with the Election Commission of Jefferson County about intimidation and threats that were made against her and to her in relation to this primary election. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a law enforcement professional. Chris, I ain't trying to get too worked up here now, my guy, but I will tell you that pisses me off. There is no way, no shape, no form or fashion is it okay for people to be threatened, people to be harassed, people are to be bothered by the way they voted or an opinion they stated, right? That is not right, not fair, and that's not America. And that's not Jefferson County. And we got to do something to stop that, period. Point blank, period, point blank, you got to. So the way to do that is file those complaints through the Election Commission, the Ethics Commission, complain to the elected officials that may or may not have been there when this happened, and let them know you're not happy. And then if all else, I'll tell the person this: if you were threatened, right, there is more than likely a criminal charge that goes with that. There are ways to seek warrants out through that, through your county prosecutors, your city attorneys, depending upon the level of what it was. Tell your story. Stand on it. Tell your story. Okay. So let's see. Elaine, county judge and sheriff don't return phone calls. That saddens me. If you live in this county and they are your elected official, whether it's the county judge or the sheriff, they owe you a return phone call. I'm not telling you that they need to call every single person every time personally back, but they owe you a follow-up. They owe a phone call or having one of their assistants do it, their chief deputies, whatever that looks like, a running log of follow-up. If they're not doing that, man, I'd call every day. I can tell you personally that our current county judge, back when I lived in the unincorporated part of the county, I had a road problem. I called the road and bridge department. I didn't get an answer the way I wanted to. A few weeks later, I was still frustrated with the condition of an area of my road, and I called the county judge. And I can say, for that perspective, he got somebody out there and fixed it. We had a conversation. I even said, so I don't remember the exact conversation. I know what it was. We had a turnabout that people always seem to cut short. It got rutted out, so forth and so on. It became a drop-off hazard if you were pulling through with the trailer, get flat tires, etc. And so I made enough of an issue about it that he sent the county road department out to fix it. Now, did they fix it the way I wanted it to be fixed? No, because we had an asphalt road that had been broke up, but they did come out, pack it full of gravel or SB2 or whatever. I'm not a road guy, but they did come out and do some things to really change it up and make it where our tires weren't dropping off, getting flats and so forth. So that was my only involvement with the roads. I know the county judge is responsible for the roads and bridges. Primarily, that's his job, and he's the CEO of the county. And then I would say this. Also, the only other time I've had interactions with our current county judge is that back in January of 25, when they were going through their budget issues, my son worked at the sheriff's office. He was not receiving a paycheck, and I was concerned with what was going on. I didn't really understand everything that was happening within the Jefferson County government and why the budgets wasn't passed and so forth and so on. And I just texted the county judge and I asked him to call me as a constituent. I was not running for office at the time. And we had a conversation, and it was a good conversation. I'm not telling you it was fully accurate and transparent, but it answered the questions that I had. It gave me some knowledge that I did not have prior to having that conversation. So, Elaine, I would tell you, if you're not having luck with returning of phone calls or information flowing from the Jefferson County elected officials, whether that's a JP, the sheriff, the county judge out in your area, I know you got constables. If they're not responding to you, then keep calling, and then when available, show up at those court meetings. You got 3 minutes, call them out. That's what I'm telling people is, when y'all elect me sheriff, I want to be called out. I want to be held accountable. If I'm not available and doing the things that I told you I would do, then I think it is appropriate for you to show up at a public place, a public time, and ask questions. So go do that, please. So if you need their cell phone numbers, Elaine, text me. I'll send them to you. I don't mind at all. Kathy says 8 months of decision making and listening on what their plan is. Please hear with an open mind who is truly the best for our community. So with that, I want to go back to how I kind of started this and how I am truly an independent. I do not align Republican values. I do not align with Democrat values. I align with the independent thinking. I align with the citizens of Jefferson County and what is best for our county, right? Regardless of what social media says, regardless of what a keyboard warrior says, regardless of what anybody thinks about me, if they know me, they know I am a free will thinker that will do the greater good for Jefferson County and for the greater good of an entire entity going forward. That's why I do not have political alignments. That's what I am. That's who I am. And that's why I chose to run the way I'm running. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to remember this. This is not a white issue. This is not a black issue. This is not a Republican issue. This is not a Democrat issue. This is a Jefferson County issue, that we are not happy with our Jefferson County government, with our Jefferson County politics, with our high crime rates within Jefferson County. And we have got to change what we've been doing. If we don't change it, it's going to get worse. More people are going to be in control that do not have our vested interest in mind when they're making decisions, when they're following through on what they have not done or have done, and the decisions will not be in the best interest of Jefferson County. in particular the sheriff's race. It's been 7 years and January, February, so 7 years and 2 months that the current sheriff has been elected. If you're not happy with his job performance, if you're not happy with that jail, if you're not happy with the response times, if you're not happy with the training that the deputies have, if you're not happy with the service that you've gotten from those deputies, then by gosh, it is time for change. It's time for you to stand up, stand on business, and say, this is what I want. I need somebody new. That applies with the county judge. That applies with the sheriff's office. That applies with your JPs. That applies with your city councilman. That applies across the board. When they're not doing what you need them to do, and I'm not talking about personal favors, I'm talking about what you believe is accountability for you and your representation or your area that you live in, and if that's a zone or a district or the entire county, then you need to cast your vote, align with them, talk with them, communicate with them, and let's make Jefferson County brighter, safer, and a community like it once was. So Elaine says, called them both last Monday. Supposedly one's in their office. We're going to check my complaint and get back to me. I asked for Judge to call me, was told he would call by Wednesday at 10 a.m. He has not. So I will put this out there. I'm just saying, Elaine Easterling, I'm going to highlight the comment. So Elaine Easterling, somebody tagged, here, I'll do it. Let's see, I will. All right, I just tagged Gerald Robinson. Which is your county judge, which you said that you called them last Monday. Supposedly, one's in their offices. We're going to check on the complaint, get back to me. I asked for the judge to call me and was told he would call back by Wednesday at 10 a.m., and it has not happened. So here we are, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So we're 5 days past when we're told it's called. I just tagged him in a live event. He's more than welcome to jump in here and try to answer that question for you. He could also call you. He can call me, Judge Robinson. If you get this, if somebody tags you or you hear that I mentioned your name on here, absolutely call me. I'll facilitate that phone call. I would love to get this lady's information question answered, and again, hold you accountable if somebody in your office has said that you would call back by Wednesday. So let's work to make that happen. Everybody shoot him a message, say, hey, Elaine Easterling says this. Let's not talk about it, let's be about it, because I mean that, ladies and gentlemen, and hopefully y'all agree. So let's see. Judy says this is so true in our county. Get out and vote for change. And let's get people that will help make these changes. Chris Lowery is the man for Jefferson County Sheriff. I appreciate that so much, Judy. I believe that. I know y'all believe that. I know my fans, my voters, and I will tell y'all this: as I go about in Jefferson County, seeing people and talking to them, we would tell you that the overwhelming majority, it does not matter, white, black, young, old, man, woman, Hispanic, if they're a voter and have an interest in Jefferson County, the feedback has been tremendous. It has been humbling. It has been dedicated from their words to say that they're voting for me, that I have their support in the general election, and that they're doing everything they can do to spread the word. That even just happened today. I met a man by Mr. J.J. Orange. I invited him to come out here today and join us on the live. I met him at Father and Son's suit shop there in Whitehall, and was introduced to him by David, the owner of Father and Sons, and we had a little bit of a conversation. I thought it went well, and as I was leaving, he said that he believed we had change that needed to happen within Jefferson County. He assured me that he was pledging his vote for me, and the last words he said to me when I was getting in my truck, he said, and I'm bringing 50 voters with me. So if we can get everybody to have 50 of their friends, family, and neighbors to commit to vote for them, and we'll walk away with this thing, and we'll know the change is truly going to happen. So please, please, please come out and do that. So again, I tagged the current county judge, trying to get his feedback on this. to be able to answer. So at Joe Robinson, let's see, let me try this. I like different ways, Elaine, to try to facilitate things. So y'all bear with me. Maggie May, my dog, is nudging my hand at Gerald. All right. So I just made another comment that will tag both of you. It should pop up there in just a minute. I did it from my phone. And that was not to call anybody out. That was trying to facilitate communication between the county judge, Gerald Robinson. Please call Elaine Easterling. So she says she has an issue where she was told that she would receive a phone call back. And I just want to try to facilitate that. That's one of the things that I've touted that I believe I'm able to do is facilitate relationships and come to mutual agreements and, mediate any issues that might be going on between elected officials, what have you. So, hey, bear with me just 1 second. Maggie May, you're going to see me walk out with her. Maggie May is bugging me like she's got to go outside. Hang on 1 second. All right, sorry about that. I'm back. This was just, when the dog needs some care, I got to take care of it. That's what I do. Hashtag Diamond State Canines. So anyway, as we move forward, feel free to reach out to me at 870-556-0330. I do want to mention a couple things before I get off here. Kate, if you're on here, can you tag the event? We have a phenomenal fundraising event that is happening May the 9th. May the 9th. That's an event that I have listed on my Facebook page. It's going to take place at the Whitehall Community Center. We're going to have the Aces Wild Band. Aces Wild, great band that's been here 3 years running for the Whitehall Police Officers Association annual charity banquet, charity ball. And would just love for you to come attend that event. Let's see if I can do that. So I see that, Chris. At least you're listening. Hashtag Diamond State Canine. Let's see. I'm doing something on my phone because it seems to be easier or more convenient. If Caleb's on here, he knows what I mean by that. I'm putting a link on here that should pop up for you here in just a second. It's Lowery4sheriff.com /donate. That is going to be a place that you can go to contribute to our campaign financially. You can make a donation, but more importantly, you can purchase a ticket for this fundraiser, purchase a table for this fundraiser. It's going to be an awesome party atmosphere. It is going to be a great time. Lots of dancing, all types of music, great food, some drinks. Security will be there. It is just going to be an awesome opportunity for you to come out and fellowship with other members of our community, meet me, hear my message, get some dancing, drinking, eating, have a good time. Again, that's going to be May the 9th. May the 9th. It's called Boots and Bling. Boots and Bling. Matter of fact, stand by for just a second. We're going to get that pulled up where I can actually show that to you. Let's see. I got to swap a couple of things. And I want to share the screen with y'all so you can see that. Takes me a minute. I apologize, but that's okay. So let me do this. I want to share the screen with you. So this is the event right there. It's Boots and Bling. That's going to be May the 9th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. at the Whitehall Community Center. You can see down there, Aces Wild is the band that's going to be there. Here's their logo down there. You can call 870-556-0330 to speak with me or anybody on my team about this event. Purchase the tickets. You're able to go to Lowery4sheriff .com/donate to be able to buy a table or a ticket. And not only will it be a great event, but I appreciate you so much for supporting our campaign and my efforts to be your next sheriff of Jefferson County. This is going to be a party atmosphere. This is going to be great dancing, music, food, drink, socialization, an opportunity to get to meet me, know me, and understand what we're trying to do in Jefferson County. You can also go by Diamond State Canine Paw Spa and buy tickets in person from Devin or Kathy. They've been holding the fort down so well for me while I'm running for this office and doing what I need to do to affect the changes in Jefferson County. So we are selling them by the table or by the ticket. So where else can you go? The tables will be for a seat and 10, but where else can you go to have food, drinks, dancing, and a good time for 10 people for such a small fee, right? So jump on out there. Come by 6523 Dalloway Road, purchase the ticket, purchase the table, go online and contribute and buy a table that way. We did start selling them this week. We've already sold 7 or 8 tables just in a few short days. So it's a lot of good time. Don't miss out on this party. That's going to be a celebratory event in Whitehall, Arkansas, celebrating Chris Lowery as your independent candidate for sheriff of Jefferson County in November of 2026. If you've ever attended an event at the Whitehall Community Center, they do it up really nice. You will never be able to tell that you're in a community center or a gym. We've been to 2 events there in the past month and several over the years. Matter of fact, we have one tomorrow night we're going to at the Whitehall Community Service Awards banquet that will be held tomorrow night. But come on out and check this out at the Boots and Bling event, Boots and Bling. Check out that awesome artwork done by Devin Kellenhofer. She will be at 6523 Dalloway Road. You can stop by there and purchase a ticket or a table. And you said, how many seats? It's only me. So, Dr. Gwynn, so there's 10 seats at every table. If a person purchases a table, they get the whole table and bring whoever they want, up to 10 people. And if it's individual, you will be placed depending upon how we have the table set up. But we will accommodate you, a person who has been such a friend and supporter to us, and just a friend and supporter to the community to spread the word. So if it's only you coming, don't worry. I know we got your ticket purchased, and you will be taken well taken care of. I assure you this. So, go ahead if you want. Invite your mother, your father, your daughter if you want. I know they're probably busy and they don't get as involved as you do, but I would love to meet them and have them come out for an event. Just have the opportunity to socialize with them, share with them, break bread with them, and have a good time. It's a community event. It's just an opportunity for me to utilize it as a fundraiser, because the one thing about this that I've learned is that this costs money, and there are different rules. You can't just fund it out of your business. You can't do this. And I am being as moral, ethical, legal as I possibly can to be above board on all this, right? So I can't just reach into my pocket and finance this thing. So the way we do this is through different fundraisers. I've not tried to beat people up and just say, I need money, I need money, I need money. This will be the second fundraiser and hopefully the last official fundraiser that we have during this event. But I will tell you that we have ideas for any excess monies that are going for this. And we're talking about the Jefferson County Sheriff's Nonprofit Association. that will go into effect underneath the Lowery administration, where there are monies to give back within this community on a non-profit basis to help people with times of need, crisis, bills, and situations that arise that nonprofits could work with. Chris Phillips, my campaign manager, has been heavily involved with a organization called Rally Point that specializes in getting nonprofits up and off the ground and give them the framework to work and set up. And we're in the process of doing all of that. So any of your money that you contribute to the Lowery4sheriff campaign is going to be utilized either to help facilitate, fundraise expenses for this campaign. Any leftover monies will go directly back into the nonprofit organization that's going to be set up to help the citizens of Jefferson County, aligning with the sheriff's office and his board of directors of that community nonprofit organization. You know, we've talked over the time about boards, having a jail advisory board, having a law enforcement advisory board, and this is the first time I've mentioned the nonprofit organization that will have its own separate board of directors that we will be raising funds for, and make this an opportunity to grow Jefferson County and do change within Jefferson County to help the citizens of Jefferson County. So remember, Boots and Bling, May the 9th, 2026, Whitehall, Arkansas, at the Whitehall Community Center. This is not a Whitehall event. I can't say that enough. This is not a Whitehall event. This is a Jefferson County event. It doesn't matter if you live in Whitehall. It doesn't matter if you live in Pine Bluff, Altimer, Wabaseka, Humphrey, Tamo. It does not matter. You are welcome at Chris Lowery's event. This just happened to be a location. This happens to be a location that would accommodate the number of people that we need at this event, and I need you to spread the word. Tag it, share it, invite your friends, reach out to me. We will make this an event of a lifetime. Great time. Ask anybody who's ever seen Aces Wild. Ask anybody who's ever been to an event at the community center. It's been an excellent time, and we just look forward to that. And it would just be a great opportunity for you to come out, meet your candidate, your only independent candidate that can bring change into Jefferson County and the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. And then it would give you an opportunity to socialize, break bread with your neighbors, your friends, your community, and let's build bridges and break down barriers, right? So this isn't, again, I cannot say this enough. My race is not Republican, it's not Democrat, it's not black, it's not white, regardless of what people tell you. I'm an independent candidate that's born and bred in Jefferson County. Hey, you know what? Hey, I got to get off here. This is a phone call that I've been expecting. Hang on one second. Remember, God bless Jefferson County.